Alright, this is gonna be my Bloodweb video for the Demogorgon. I'm just gonna get started here by clicking on Bloodweb. I'm gonna leave this up for just a little bit. If you want to read the whole thing, you can pause it. The first 10 levels are pretty simple, so I'm probably not gonna talk a whole lot. You basically have to buy everything that shows up in order to advance the levels, so there's not really any strategy to this at all. I might stop to read some add-ons depending on if they're rare or not. I'm pretty much only going to pay attention to like very rare and ultra rares because those are what I'm going to be using in my first game anyways, I think, if I get any. So you're always going to get a perk in each Bloodweb, and then once you get up to 5 levels, you unlock your first perk slot. Oh, we got barbecue and chili. That's actually a good perk to have right now. So when I get up to level 10, I'll unlock another perk slot, and then at level 15, I will unlock the last perk slot. All killers start with 1 to begin with, so you're allowed up to 4 perks. So every 5 levels a perk, 15 is your max. Level 15 is your max perk. I worded that wrong, but you know what I mean. You know, starting off with the survivor pudding, that's nice. So when we get up to level 10, it'll give us another prompt. It's actually a bigger Bloodweb than what I was anticipating. So we unlocked our really? Okay, never mind. I read that wrong. So there's this, and I'm pretty sure the first Bloodweb will have 2 perks in it. It does. So now, for this Bloodweb, I have to choose between Fire Up or Monstrous Shrine. When I get one of these perks, the other one will automatically be consumed and will actually start the whole entity consuming add-ons process. So I don't really care for either of these. They're both tier 2, so it doesn't really matter which one I get. So I'm just going to go with the Fire Up. It's actually the cheaper of the 2 perks as well. So now, as I purchase items in this Bloodweb, this little black aura will move and consume other items. So this item is already gone. There's nothing I can do to prevent that from being consumed. So, and then it will continue to move down this line until it no longer can. And then, as there's more items, it'll jump to the outermost part of the Bloodweb. So if it gets to this point and I can no longer and it can't consume anything else, it will literally jump over and consume the mystery box if I don't purchase it. So if I go here, it'll consume this, and then I either have to buy this or it will be consumed. So let's just demonstrate, and then we'll buy that. So automatically consumes it. Now the box will actually tell you what was in it, so you can actually figure out if your decision to not buy that was actually good or not. I don't really care too much about deviousness blood points. I'll get plenty of that along the way, and then we'll just buy our last one to go to the next Bloodweb. And then this is pretty much back to where we were originally. I think it's after 5 purchases the entity will spawn in. So let's just... Okay, so I won't even get a warning. That little sound right after that purchase was actually the entity about to spawn in. Most of these Bloodwebs until like level 20 are going to be really basic. So there's the entity spawning in. So now it will consume whatever is on the outermost part. So it will consume the murky region and nothing else. So if I buy this, it'll consume that. And as you advance in Bloodweb, there will be more items and it will get more complicated. At level 25, you are guaranteed to have 2 perks spawn into your Bloodweb. Right now, it's all kind of random. I could get 2 perks in this Bloodweb, but it's not a guarantee. Buy that. Pretty sure these are the same. Yep. So doesn't matter which one I buy. This might take a little while, but I kind of want to do this uncut so that you can actually see this in action. Other people are going to probably be posting gameplay, and I will eventually, but I kind of want to do something different that not everyone else is going to be doing, because everyone else is going to be throwing out the gameplay and you're going to have seen it like 1,000 times, so there's no real point in throwing it out. Plus, we already seen most of it from PTB stuff, if you're actually into the game. So here, when it comes over and consumes the scratch coin, anything else that is being isolated will also be consumed, which actually plays into strategies as well. I'll actually probably get into more detail about that later on. Another thing I like to do, which I didn't actually say, is I like to go for the gray ones for the most part. You'll see me as the Bloodweb advances, I'll go for more ultra rare and very rare stuff, which isn't, like, I'm not really getting value out of it, but this is a new killer, so I'm gonna make some less favorable purchases, and plus I also have my rituals to fall back on. I don't think I'm going to get to level 39 with the blood points I do have, so the ritual blood points I do have, I'm probably going to go over onto Leatherface and post my opinions on the Bloodweb changes. Oh, I like that. Is that the same thing, but time taken? Oh. Except that's not near a perk. Okay, we're gonna... I always like to get the perk first, even if it is a shitty perk that I'm never going to use, like, pardon me, like Insidious. I'm probably never going to use Insidious, unless I'm going, like, super toxic, but I always want to go for a perk first, otherwise the Bloodweb is just it's a waste of a level, basically. The entire point of the Bloodweb is to basically get your perk. Everything else is secondary compared to that. As I advance, there's other things that I like to look for in a Bloodweb. I like to look for survivor puddings and bloody party streamers. The reason for that is they give you 100% bonus blood points, and it's a really good value buy, because for the cost of it, you're going to make back way more than what the actual cost of the item is. And that's kind of the same for most of these. Like even that 50% blood point bonus for brutality, you're going to get your 3,000 back and plus, and then some. So slightly. Speaking of the devil, there's a survivor pudding right there. So what I like to do is I actually like to look at the Bloodweb and see what I have first and what actually interests me. The survivor pudding jumped at me immediately before I even saw the perk or even where my perk was. Again, Spies from the Shadows is another perk that I will probably never use, but I want to get this first. Now, it works out to my advantage that the pudding is actually in line with the perk. So I can actually buy this immediately and then go straight to my perk. I like that too. Oh, I missed one. And I do that a lot too. I'll sit back and I'll wait for the screen to pop up and I'll notice that I missed an add-on. Alright, so now we have another one with 2 perks. We've got Lightborn. Oh no, Shadowborn. I get those 2 mixed up all the time. And we've got Devour Hope Tier 2. I'm going to go for the Tier 2. Another thing I don't like to buy is map offerings, because, again, I never use them. I think it's kind of cheesy that you can pick the map that you play on. And in this case, it's literally only 1 map, so you're always going to spawn at the same map. Other map offerings, like Macmillan, they have like 3 or 4 different types of maps. So it's not like you're actually picking a specific map. But so most of these DLC maps, in fact I think all of them except for Curtis Pren, only have 1 map in them. Ordmund, Badham. Well, Badham's kind of doesn't count now because of the map rework, but I mean it's still Badham at the end of the day, whether it like generates different tiles or not. Haddonfield is another one. I think that's all of them, but we're going to buy that. So now, if I don't buy this, my next move, the entity is going to consume the Black Heart, and then the very next one is going to consume this Raven Wreath, and along with that, these 2 perks. So we'll let it happen. And boom, it's gone. So that actually frees up, that's 7,000 points. Well, actually 10,000 points I don't otherwise have to buy. So, kind of plays into strategy a little bit. I like that too. Son of a bitch. So, the entity consumed that because I didn't pay attention. I should have known that was going to get consumed, but oh well. We'll buy that. I do like that Elven Soda though, so I'm gonna probably keep an eye out for another one of those. Alright, so now we're back to 1 perk Bloodwebs for right now. Now, I would really like to get this unknown egg, but chances are, I think the entity is going to come in and take it before I can... Yeah, it's going to come in and take it. One thing I don't really care for is it's random in what it picks. I actually wish that it would pick the more expensive of the add-ons. That way it would be a little bit more predictable, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I like that too. I think we might go for that, but first we have to go for the Bloodhound, because that's the only perk on the Bloodweb. Now, since the entity spawned up here, I'm assuming that it's going to get the Deer Lung. Yes, I'm correct in that. I like hunting. Hunting's easy to get blood points in, so... We got a Survivor Pudding. And it's the opposite direction of where I need to purchase. Alright, so the Black Ward's going to get consumed, I think. It's going to be one of these 2, the Shattered Glasses or the Black Ward. I would like for it to consume the Black Ward. I don't really need it. But we're going to get our pudding. Yep. So now, my very next purchase, the glasses are going to get consumed. So this is where the strategy comes in. Actually, there's no strategy here, is there? If I make this buy, shattered, the glasses get consumed. I buy this, that gets consumed. I have to eventually buy this. Yep. And then that gets consumed. Alright, well, we got our ruin. Thank God. Deviousness. I don't really need deviousness, but let's I haven't played Killer yet either, so I say I don't need deviousness, but maybe he's really good at deviousness, and I might actually be eating my words later. I just don't care for deviousness. Brutality and hunting are the two categories that I usually excel the most at. Sacrifice and deviousness are kind of lesser. Even if you kill everyone, you don't always max out your sacrifice, which is kind of dumb. I like the soda. There's a party streamer. I've got, what's that, Spirit Fury? I always get Spirit Fury and Bamboozle mixed up too. And then I got the Noed. We're gonna go for the Noed because the Mori's right there too. And then we'll buy our party streamer. And then we'll go for our Elven Soda, which I think that's gonna get consumed. Son of a bitch. I can't fucking win. I really want that Elven Soda. Is that Rancor? Yeah, and Bamboozle. We'll go for the cheaper one, just to get value. We're not going to buy this because it's only going to be 2 purchases before that gets consumed. Normally, I would actually go for the 3000s, but I'm gonna try and... There we go. I'd like to get some very rare, what's that, Thrilling Tremors or Corrupt Intervention? Thrilling Tremors. So if I play this right, this whole area will get consumed. So I'll go for the Whispers, even though I don't really use Whispers anymore. I graduated from being a noob to being legit. Okay, this is our first ultra rare, if I'm not mistaken, other than the Mori that popped up. Oh, this is the one I actually like too. So, and we also got our fucking Elven Soda down here too. I would really love to get Pop Goes the Weasel, but I really want this ultra rare, which is also right next to another perk. So we're gonna get Thanatophobia, even though I'm never going to use it, and I actually think I'd be able to get more use out of Pop. And we're gonna actually get our Elven Soda, as it consumes another one, and almost half of the Bloodweb. And there's another one. Is that Bamboozle? That is Bamboozle. Monster Shrine. Alright, we can make this work. We'll buy that. Buy that. And then we'll just go for value after that. We'll get the cheapest thing. Alright, now we go into teachable perks. Let me get my cursor out of the way. So, the teachables is basically how you get the perks, the killer perks for other killers, and same thing with the survivors. In this case, there's 2 survivors that came with this DLC, so there's 6 survivor perks total that are being introduced in this DLC. For this killer, there's only 3. You'll always have 3 perks designated to any one character. That's also how you get your Adept trophy, is by only playing with the 3 perks designated for that character, be it survivor or killer. Now, there's a trick to teachables. I don't necessarily have to buy this in the Bloodweb right now. If I don't, it will literally pop up in the next Bloodweb. It's a given. I've done it many a times. The thing is I don't even think I'm going to use Iron Maiden. So do I really need to carry this over to the next Bloodweb if I'm not even ever going to use Iron Maiden? And I have a survivor pudding right here. The answer is no. So I'm just going to pick up the teachable. And then I got my survivor pudding. I'm going to gamble and see what I get here. Cut coin. It's kind of rubbish, but whatever. At this point, since I spent more blood points than what I probably should have, I'm gonna go for value, and I'm just going to, actually, we're gonna do that. Block that. And get as much value as possible. Get all the cheap shit. And then we get to go right... Oh, this is actually a Demogorgon perk. So we're gonna buy that. Because that'll help us with our adept, and that's the first Demogorgon perk we've actually run into on our Bloodweb, and we're already 31 levels in. That's actually not a good thing, if we're going to go for our adept immediately, which is what I was planning on doing. Devour Hope Tier 3 is the one thing that caught my eye the most there. What's this? Now, the only problem I see here is I have a bloody party streamer right there. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Alright, I'm gonna actually do something that I never thought I would do, and I'm going to let the party streamer go. Because I want the Devour Hope more than anything. There's no point in me buying this unless I actually want it. I don't necessarily need it. I would go for the whistle, we'll go for the Mori, and then just go for value for the rest of it. Should be able to get it. Okay, there's the pop I wanted. We'll buy that. I don't really care about sacrifice too much. So this is going to move and consume this, and along with that, the Mori. So we'll just let that happen. And then we'll buy the next two cheapest things on the board. Okay, so this is a tier 3. I already got the Devoured Hope, but I didn't really talk about it. So the second you get the tier 3 perk, you'll no longer see that perk show up in the Bloodweb at all, because that perk is now maxed out. So we're going to just max out this so we don't ever have to see it again. We may or may not use that in a build. Probably not, because there's way better perks to use, but you never know. We'll just get all these greens, even though our grays are getting consumed. I'll just go for value after that. Okay, so we got another teachable. They pop up every 5 levels, so the next one won't show up until level 40. And then we got Furtive Chase down here in the bottom. So I'm going to actually go for the Learn perk, because I don't even really use Furtive Chase. In fact, when I was doing my Adept Ghostface, I couldn't even tell you how many tokens I got for my Furtive Chase, because I wasn't paying attention to it. I could have cared less about it. Get the soda. Go for value. Map offering. And it's gonna make us buy the one thing that we didn't want anyways. Got 38,000 blood points. It might be enough to get me a level. Okay, so here's actually the toughest decision that I'm gonna probably have to make for this entire Bloodweb. It's a choice between Agitation and Mad Grit. Since Agitation is a tier 2, I'm going to probably just go with that. I don't really run Mad Grit that much either. I'd rather run Iron Grasp and Agitation. If I really want to go insane with my Leatherface, I'll run Mad Grit with Agitation and Iron Grasp, but I don't typically need it for my builds. Get the Elven Sodas, because for whatever reason I'm fascinated by those. So now Okay, these two aren't going to get consumed because of the cypress, but when this gets consumed, this will get consumed. We'll get that. We're at 3,000 blood points. Okay, so I can make one more purchase, but it's either this one or this one. So I'm not going to use my rituals to get anything else. I'm going to we're at level 37. That's typically where I get with nearly maxed out blood points. So I'm gonna end this portion of the video, and then we're going to pick up on my Leatherface, and I'm going to have my very first impressions of the new Bloodweb.